Hi, here's another wee story, just a continuation for the Bainsford School. Along there, as you can see, is Bainsford Church. Now, I did a wee story about the old BRS transport place there the last time, but coming back along here, I wonder how many of you remember this place fair way back. This was the Bainsford Dairy. It's now called the Creamery, I think. They've got a bar and whatnot in there. But when we were wee, this was the bottling area for milk. All you would hear when you come near this place was the rattle of bottles going along the wee belt to the loading area. So the milk actually came into this place and it was processed and then bottled. Then it was put into crates, obviously, but they also had something else here, and that was the wee milk, what we called the milk floats. There were about a dozen of them, if I remember rightly. Wee electric sort of van things. I'll try and put a wee clippy one on the comments later on. But they used to fill these wee milk floats up with crates of milk, and there was a milk float for more or less each area. To give you an idea, there was one for Hawk Street, Cobblebray, Cross Street, Abbotsford Street, Marlin Street, Gairdner Street, that sort of area, down to say the Carden Bridge. And it used to start at the top of more or less David's Lawn, and we used to give him a hand, and we used to get a few coppers from him after giving him a hand. But these drivers knew exactly who got what, how many pints and all, a proper milkman, you know. But at that time, if anybody wanted milk, they'd leave an empty milk bottle out and they'd have a wee token. The token would either be for a pint, 2 pints or whatever. And of course they'd have to buy them first. So we used to go around and help them deliver. They'd tell us what many bottles would be required at a certain house. So we'd go in with a wee hand crate and would deliver their milk, lift their tokens and give them to them, that sort of thing. Quite an experience, but a hefty job. So that was the day when milk was delivered to your door. I don't think you see that nowadays. It's cheaper just going to the supermarket and get your own now, I think. But the creamery there, as I say, it was all rattling the bottles and all that sort of stuff. What a racket it used to make. But just next to it there, where that white car is, well, the second white car, there used to be a wee shop there, and it sold biscuits. In those days the biscuits were in square tins. They're about a foot square roughly, made of tin, and they had all the different biscuits in each tin. So we used to come along there and pop in and we used to say to the woman, "Any broken biscuits?" So the woman she'd go round each box here looking, and any broken, and she'd take them out, and she'd end up putting them in a poke. And of course we'd get a couple of coins sort of thing, and off we'd go. We'd eventually split the biscuits right enough and give them to our maws. But when I was up here a wee while ago and looked at it, I can still remember it. Of course, up the top of the road there, it's now a bookies, but that used to be the cooperative. Now, they sold furniture and all sorts in there. I remember that. I think the cooperative owned everything. They even owned the creamery, didn't they? But a funny thing, right opposite where the co-op was, is the Bluebell, the famous Bluebell. Well, it had another name at one time. It was called the Benefit Office. Never forget that. Anybody who was off sick or didn't work or anything like that, they always went there, because there was always somebody in that pub that knew the ropes how to get benefit from the system. It was always called that. No going to, are you going to Bluebell? Are you going to Benefits Office? everybody knew where I was. And I used to see women going up there with prams and potting in and saying, anybody help me about this or that? Unbelievable. I wonder how many of you remember that. Anybody out there got any comments?